Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast of I'm Not Okay with Danny G. It's me, Danny G, all by my lonesome. Again, I'm coming to terms with it. I have come to the realization I'm sure it's going to be like this for a long time, and that's okay. I'm cool. I like me. Most of the time. This week's episode, I plan on talking about another one of my favorite shows, American Horror Story. One of my faves. Top 3 for sure. And it's coming out with a new season next month, so I thought I'd do a little recap of the previous seasons and my thoughts and stuff, and then I would do predictions of the new season because they've already dropped some teasers here and there. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the other 7 seasons, but you should already be caught up, especially if you're listening about the new season. And I hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty, here we go. Alright guys, so American Horror Story. Woo! I love this show. Have loved it since the first... Wait, I take that back. I did not know about the first season. I actually got into it when season 2 came out. And my dad was watching his favorite show, Dancing with the Stars. I don't know. He was in his own world. Anyways, he was into that, and I guess it came on after, so he told me about this show. And he said it's really weird and creepy and something you would probably like. And I was like, oh yeah, sounds like me. Death, love it. I got into it with the second season. And I think it was like the second episode I remember. So I saw the first 2 episodes of season 2 back to back and loved it. Fell in love. Could not stop watching it. I have loved the show since the beginning and I am still a fan now. Now, I don't love every season. If you don't know, which you should, every season is a different theme. So they've done like Murder House, Asylum, Coven, Freak Show, Hotel, Roanoke, Cult, the new one's Apocalypse. There's some I like more than others, just based off the story or the main plot of it. My favorite one is Asylum. That one's my favorite. Not because I saw it first. I just think it was the darkest, the most twisted, nuns being possessed by the devil and like crazy house people and that whole thing and back in the day and Nazis, and it was so twisted. It went there in so many different ways. You were like, oh, I didn't know they were going to show that on TV. So season 2 was my favorite season. My next favorite one would be season 1, The Murder House. I'm going to talk about them in order. I'm just saying my favorites. My second favorite is Murder House. Just because, like, I love that good long story, and I liked the details, and I liked all the little mini stories that were in each episode explaining every character and why they end up there and how everyone kind of connected to this murder house. So I liked that one a lot. After that, I kind of was like, Coven I know is a huge hit, and I do like it, but it was kind of slow for me, especially since, like, the other seasons there was so much twistedness and blood and gore, and not that every season needed to be that way. I'm just saying it was very kind of kind of chill. But I like the witches and all that. Love it. Freak Show I liked a lot. I loved Freak Show. Roanoke I didn't like. It was kind of confusing. It's not that I didn't like it, it was just so confusing because it was one of those things. It was like those paranormal shows where, like, people are explaining their ghost story, these actors, and so it kind of got a little confusing, but it was interesting. I liked it. It just was The Hotel one I liked, but man, did I feel like it went on forever. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't even know if I finished it. Like, I know I watched every season. I just cannot remember at all how it ended. Like, I'm trying to think right now how Hotel ended. Don't tell me if you remember. Like, I'm going to go back and watch it. They're all on Netflix, but like, I just cannot remember how it ended for the life of me. And then the cult one, this last one with the whole president and Trump and all that. I try to stay out of political things just because they are so overwhelming. And I hate talking politics because when you're speaking to someone about politics, they already have their mindset that they feel one way about something or the other. And so I don't like talking to someone because if they don't feel the same way as you, they are so quick to kind of push how they feel down your throat or make you feel like how you feel is wrong. So I tend to stay away from politics in my real life and, in the podcast. I will say I'm not a Trump fan, but like that's as far as I'll go into talking about it. So this one I watched all the way through because I am a fan, but it wasn't like my favorite, gonna watch it again over and over and over. Like I do Murder House or Asylum. I could watch those over and over again and be just fine. This new one coming out, I'm so excited about. Little things have been put out there about what the new season's gonna be, but we don't know for sure. All we know so far is that it's called Apocalypse, and also that they're combining 2 previous seasons into one. And I don't know how they're going to integrate it or how they're going to flow together. Also, it's going to be interesting because if you don't know the show, it's always like the same main characters are in every season and then they play different characters. So Jessica Lange, who's my favorite on there by far, she hasn't been in the last couple of them, but she's been in the first 3 seasons, but every season is a different theme, like I said, so she plays a different character. So it's going to be so confusing with this new one because people who were in the first season, Murder House, and season 3, The Witch, spoiler, that's what the new one is. It's 1 and 3 combined. So it's going to be interesting to see how the people who are on season 1 and season 3 play their characters, or if they're playing, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, okay, so season 1, Tate, Evan Peters, my everything. Loved him in season 1. Not so much in season 3. Felt like he was just a big, dumb zombie jock guy. Like, I don't even know what that plot was. I just feel like they were desperate to keep him on. Because, like, it was the worst. Ugh. Anyways, so I don't know how he's gonna be in this new one since he's already 2 other characters in the previous one. So it'll be fun. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Alright, so before we jump into Apocalypse, let me back it up, and let me go over a few of the other seasons. I just talked about my favorites, but let me break down the seasons for you. For the ones who need a refresher, who don't feel like watching all of them, I get it. Like, it's a lot. But I love them so much that I might. I don't know. So season 1 is the Murder House season. That one came out way back in the day, if you can believe it, in 2011. Oh, yeah. And it's actually set in the year 2011. And it's about a husband and a wife and their teenage daughter moving into this big, beautiful house. And the wife, like, loses her baby, and it makes her husband have an affair with one of his students, and it, like, messed up the whole family or whatever. So they move into this big, beautiful restored mansion, like, gorgeous. And apparently it came with a housekeeper. I don't even know. Like, she was just there. No, she said she was applying for the job, I remember, but I don't even know if she technically got it or not. She was just like, okay, well, I'll be here in the morning. And then everyone was okay with that. And it was weird. Like, that was already kind of like, okay. And then her neighbor came by with her daughter, who is a little different. She has a disability. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, so I don't want to say it and come off rude. This couple and their daughter move into this big house, and they have these crazy neighbors with the girl, Adelie, and her mom, who is, like, so weird. Like, she dresses like she's from the 50s. Her name's Constance in the show. And I was always confused. I was like, okay, this is now time, but this lady dresses like back in the day and talks like back in the day, like a southern debutante, very picky, very, I don't know. Anyways, they're the next door neighbors, and they're super weird, and they're always coming to the house, and we don't know why yet. Come to find out, you know why later on, or if you already know, you know. To find out, the house is super haunted. And I'm not talking like a little haunted, like famous ghosts are there, or people who were at the wrong place at the wrong time have gotten killed there. The previous owners were like 2 gay guys that were fighting. They got killed there. And then the weird thing is, like, when you die in the house, your ghost stays in the house. It's so weird. So weird. I like that, though. And so I won't give it all. I'm just kind of quickly summarizing everything in my head. So they find out that the house is haunted and all these ghosts are there. And I'm talking ghosts from, like, 1920s. Like, the owners of the house that are still there that are ghosts, to, like, people who were just walking by. Like Constance's boyfriend wasn't even doing anything, walking his dog, and he ended up getting murdered there. And it's crazy. So the family ends up trying to leave when they find out it's haunted, and they can't. Their daughter can't leave because she's already dead in the house. The wife gets pregnant while she's there with her husband because she had a miscarriage. And then her husband had an affair, like I said. And so they were trying to fix their marriage, so they end up having sex, and she gets pregnant, but she's pregnant with twins. Well, while they're there, they find out, like, one of the babies isn't the dad, and he thinks that she's sleeping around. And, like, what are the odds of someone getting pregnant twice? So it's not even twins. It's two separate babies. But what had happened was that the ghost of Tate, who ends up falling in love with the teenage daughter, had sex with her mom and knocked her up. So now she's pregnant with a ghost baby and a regular baby. So she dies giving birth, and one of the babies is born dead already, like, because he was a ghost baby. And then the other baby lived, so he got taken out of the house and he could live a normal life. And so the mom died, the daughter died, and then the husband, I don't know, he didn't want to die, I remember, but he ended up being murdered, so he ended up staying in the house. So the whole family's there. Now they're just a ghost little family with all the other ghost people. And all the ghosts, it's so cool because on Halloween, all the ghosts can leave to go wherever they want in the world. Like, they can leave the house, but only on Halloween. So it's cool little stuff like that. Really good. I loved season 1. I can't wait to see what they do with season 1. Okay, season 2, Asylum, takes place in 1964. It came out in 2012 to 2013. And it follows the patients and staff members of this insane asylum called Briarcliff Manor. But they're not called insane asylums back then. I think they're called House for the Criminally Insane. And one of the people there is Kit Walker, who is accused of being Bloodyface, this like crazy killer who killed his wife and killed a whole bunch of people. And it's a crazy murder that's on the loose. And so he's not insane, but they're holding him here until his trial to see whether or not he was insane or if he was with it when he killed his wife and all these people. And he claims that he was abducted by aliens. So it was so good this season because it had like religion, so God and the devil, but then it also had aliens, and it was just such a good season. Anyways, so one of these reporters who wants to know more about him, Lana Winters, sneaks into the insane asylum and ends up being stuck in there because the main nun, the scary nun, knew that she didn't belong there, but kept her because she was a lesbian. So she told her, like, we need to cure you of your lesbianism. Surprise, lady, lesbians still exist. Anyway, so the reporter gets stuck in there, so she can't leave, and so she gets a first-hand view of what it's like to be there. She eventually gets out and she writes a book and she becomes super famous and tells her story, and she becomes a even bigger reporter and reports, regular stuff. But it was really good. And then there's just a whole bunch of other little characters in it, like different patients. The one Pinhead, what's her name? Pepper. Pepper's in it, who ends up being in another season. She's in Freak Show, and she has like I don't know if it's her brother or her boyfriend or something. I don't know, but she has like another person. And there's just a whole bunch of different characters. It's so great. It's so awesome. Actually, another fact I do remember is that the therapist who goes to the asylum to figure out whether Kit Walker is crazy or not, he's actually Bloodyface. And he's framing Kit Walker so that he can get away with it. But it all comes to light that he's the one, and da-da-da-da, and he takes the coward's way out and kills himself. Not cool. Not cool. And it was, that one's my favorite season. A lot of other stuff. There's a Nazi doctor, Dr. Arden, who, like, performs, just like they did back in the Nazi days, where, like, they would do stuff to people. He's still doing stuff to people. And it's, like, never really clear. He makes monsters. I mean, I know they explained it, but I still was kind of confused. So he makes, I don't know what he's making, superhumans, but they don't work out, or they become too powerful or too crazy. So he kind of throws them in the woods, and he like takes food and blood to them to feed them to like keep them happy. And like the most purest nun of them all, like a virgin, so sweet, she helps him, not knowing what she's doing, because that's how like sweet she is. She's naive, and she's helping him, but she doesn't know what she's doing. She ends up being possessed by the devil himself, and she becomes the craziest thing you've ever seen. And it's so awesome and sadistic and like sexy and scary at the same time. It's awesome. Anyways, so there's that one with, like I said, all the characters and this and that. It was a really good season. That's my favorite one. The next one that comes out, the next season is Coven, which came out 2013 to 2014. And boy, oh boy, was this the season. I'm telling you, if you liked the first two, that was great. But everyone went apeshit for season 3. Everyone was all about the witches, and we wear black on Wednesday. And it was just a thing. It blew up. And I liked it too. It was really good. I'm just saying it's not my favorite. So this one was set, I think it's like, current time 2013, and it follows like the last of the witches that are out there in the world. No, sorry. So it follows the last witches who are blood related to the Salem witches. So the few witches that are there, I can't remember. I think there's like 3 of them or 4. They're all somehow related to the Salem witches from back in the day, Salem witch trials. So some of them know they're witches and some didn't know before they got there. And so they're just trying to keep them safe and teach them how to use their powers in the modern world. So it's like a school for witches. It was cute. Takes place in New Orleans. I liked it. It was fun. So the main witch, who's like the teacher, the principal, the big mom of the house, I don't know how you want to explain it. She's the supreme witch, which is like number 1 witch of them all. She can do all the powers of everything that everyone has. Usually everyone has one power. Well, she has all their powers because she's so supreme. Well, she's getting older, so as she gets older, a new witch is about to come into place, and what she wants to do is find out who it is so she can kind of kill them and she can stay the supreme witch. And so all these little girls don't even know some of their powers, and then they start fighting over who's better, and it becomes a thing. And then they're fighting. Also, there's another witch like that does her own voodoo. She's a voodoo witch. I couldn't think of the word, guys. She's a voodoo witch. And the voodoo witch does her own thing, and she doesn't want to be a part of what they're doing, but they need her help for something, and then they work together, and it's just a whole thing. Can't even explain it. I definitely need to rewatch it, especially because this one's also going to be in the new season, and I can't wait. So, that one's exciting. Our next one is Freak Show. It came out in 2014, 2015 time. It takes place in 1952 in Jupiter, Florida. And all it is, well, not all it is, but it's a big circus, but of freaks. So it's like that thing they did back in the day, like Bearded Lady and Littlest Person and Crabman and the Lady Who Can See the Future. And they're all really freaks, so that's really cool that I like that they are actual. They're not freaks. I hate using that word, even though that's what the show's called. Like, I don't like it. It's rude. Anyways, all these people are different. And I like it because it's genuine. They're not like people putting on costumes pretending to be something that they're not. Like, this is how they look or this is how they are. It's really good. And so there's some guy who's trying to take them and make money off of them. And they're a very close-knit family. And him coming in there kind of stirring up the pot changes some stuff. And it gets real interesting. And then also at the same time, there's a killer clown out on the loose. And then he's trying to hide with the freaks, and the freaks are getting blamed for the murders that the crazy clown is doing. And then there's like his whole sad story. Then there's these like conjoined twins, Betty and Dot. Like, I don't even know if are they conjoined twins? They're one body and then 2 heads. So I don't even know what that makes them, but they have a whole storyline. It's really good. Really good season. I really enjoyed that one. This one mostly dealt with like discrimination and then like prejudice and acceptance and exploitation and things like that. Really good season. The next one is Hotel. Took place in 2015-2016. I think it's set like in our time, but they do a lot of flashbacks and stuff. And like I said, I don't remember finishing this one, so I don't know how it ends. But it was kind of confusing because there was like vampires, and then there's ghosts and people coming into the house. And then I remember one episode, like, all these famous murderers are there, and I really didn't understand the story, the plot line. I got confused. And I know Lady Gaga was in it, so it was like a big deal. And I loved it, and I loved her as a vampire, and she was sexy, and that guy that was like her lover, loved that whole thing. But I just wasn't understanding the whole, like, point. There was too many, I feel, different themes they were throwing out there, so I couldn't catch one and stick to it. Like the whole Lady Gaga having little children, vampire children, but why? Because I don't know. So I gotta finish that one, guys. I won't go in too much detail into that one since I really don't know it enough to explain it. But I know, like, it mostly deals with, like, I know there was drug addiction and sexuality and revenge. A lot of drugs, and a lot of death. The next one was Roanoke. That one's kind of new. Oh, that one's the second to last of what came out. So 2016. And like I said, that one's mostly about a husband and a wife telling their paranormal story. And then we're watching it, like those shows of people are like, oh, I was haunted by a ghost. And then we're seeing actors play it out. So not them, but people like them, who look like them, are doing the things that they're saying in their story. And then I guess what happens is that those actors are doing it in the same house, and then stuff starts happening. And then at the end, they get the actors who played the people and then the actual people all in the same house. And then stuff really starts going sideways because it's possessed. And there was like this whole thing of a crazy lady. What was her name? Agnes something. She was crazy and didn't want anyone to live in that house, so anyone who came in there would die. And then it just, like, all the actors and the real people started disappearing, and then it kind of turned into like this Blair Witch thing. It was good. It was interesting. I liked it. Not my number one favorite, but I definitely liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it more than Cult, so it got bumped up for me. So you see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff of what the actors did for these people and how it affected their lives and stuff like that. And how the real people were affected, and how the real husband and wife aren't together, and the wife is sleeping with the guy who plays her husband. It gets all jimble-jambled, but it's really good. The last one that came out was Cult, and that one took place in 2017, right after the election, and it was based on the election. And Evan Peters, my favorite, he saw that Trump won, and then he was so happy, and then it turned into like this Nazi thing that he wanted to make his group of people like a superior group, aka a cult, and all these dumb people follow him. And then he has his sister Winter help him out, who's also like the babysitter of this cute little lesbian couple, and they're trying to take her son, the lesbian couple's son, and split them up. And one of the lesbians is kind of noticing what's going on, and she's like, yo, this guy's not all there. And her wife ends up joining, and well, apparently she was part of it the whole time. So it was really good. Like I said, it just wasn't my favorite season just because it was so political, but if you put that aside, it was still a really good season. It was interesting, and it was crazy to find out, like, oh, this person was in the cult, because you really don't know in the beginning. Everyone's wearing masks and stuff like that, so you don't know who's in the cult and who's not and why they're in it. So as the show continues, you're like, oh, this one's in it. Oh, that one's in it. Oh, I didn't know, and why. And so it was okay. Last but not least is the new season coming out this year. It comes out September 12th, 2018. Next month, guys. I'm so excited. I love this show. I love it so much. Sorry, I screamed in your ear. I'm just so excited about it. So I don't know too much about it. I don't want to give any spoilers away to people who don't like spoilers. But for me, it's not that I like spoilers, but I like knowing a little before I jump in at, like, what's it about? So like I said, all I know is that they're combining they're saying it's going to be a crossover between Murder House and Coven. And I don't know how that's going to happen. It's called Apocalypse. And so my whole thing is like, the witches can't die unless there's a fire. So I don't even know how the apocalypse of this season goes. But like, is everyone going to die and the witches don't? But then there's ghosts for Murder House, and ghosts don't die. So I'm just so excited, guys. I'm so excited. Okay. All I know is this. This is the facts that I know. That they're combining those two seasons Murder House and Coven, and that the baby from Murder House, the one that lived, he is going to be a very important part. I don't know if it's the baby that lived and left the house, because I remember at the end of season 1, like, he killed his nanny or whatever, and then the grandma came in and she's like, oh, what did you do, little boy? Ha ha ha. So I'm thinking it's that kid, which is weird because don't you think that would be the kid that the husband and wife made because they were both alive, and not between the mom and the ghost, or yeah, the mom and the ghost in the black suit? I don't know. So we'll see how that plays out. Because I know the other baby is going to stay a baby forever. Since he died a baby in the house, he's just going to be a baby his whole life. Interesting. So like I said, this is all I know so far. I'm so excited. I'm so about it. Woo! I cannot wait. Cannot wait. I posted on my Facebook a clip. I don't know if it's going to be the opening of the season or what it is, but they put out some little video, and it gives clues. It gives clues to the new season. And I'm trying to figure it out, guys. I'm trying to decode it, but I'm the worst. So sometimes I'll post that stuff, and then I love to read the comments because there's people who, like, will sit there for weeks on end trying to decode that thing. And then I'll just kind of be like, oh, yeah, I see that. So that's my plan, is to post that video, like I said, and then go back and see what you guys find from it. Because all I saw was like a baby and a heart and an umbilical cord and a, what's that thing with the sand and you flip it and it's like a timer? That thing. So there's themes, and then there's fire, and then there's like a box, and this black hand coming out of the fire is taking the box. I don't know what the witches are involved and what they're not involved in. I'm excited to see. Alright guys, that's my recap of the previous seasons and what's coming out this season and what I know so far, which is not much. Anything I know, you guys know because it's been put out there. I follow all the fan pages, so if you do, you don't know any more than I do. I'm really excited about the new season. I can't wait to see everybody again. I love seeing it every season because it's kind of like, oh, everybody's back again, but then they're playing different people, so it's still fun and it's still interesting. I just can't wait. I just can't wait, guys. I love it, love it, love it. They're combining my favorite season, Murder House, and like the world's favorite, the Coven one, which I loved as well. Very, very good. Not complaining. I just can't wait to see how they combine my favorite. And I can't wait to see Tate and Violet again and that whole dynamic, because I remember she was super mad at him, and I really liked their love story. And I like how in the Coven one, they fall in love again as different people. So it'll be interesting to see how like all that goes. So, alright guys, that's it for this podcast. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Everything's I'm Not Okay with Danny G. Look it up. Leave me your thoughts. Leave me some comments. Tell me what you think the new season's going to be about. And tell me your predictions, please. I would love to like sink my teeth into this one with all of you guys. Would love it. And if you want to talk about your favorite season, do it. And if you want to tell me why my favorite season isn't the best, let me know and I'll correct you. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Alright guys, thanks for listening to another podcast of I'm Not Okay with Danny G. I'm not okay. Please, stay not okay, so we can not be okay together. Alright guys, bye.